These kind of threats, these kind of threats can be naturally avoided if monitoring is on a continuous basis. Documentation related to monitoring has also to be mentioned, where it sets out what are the monitoring procedures, what are the evaluation criteria, whether it is designed properly, and whether the policies are applied properly for each circumstance. Complaint monitoring, if there's any threat to the processes or any independence, if there are any complaints that are received or allegations of any independence conflicts or non-compliance of firms' QC systems, then what are the methodology to redress this particular complaint is also should be mentioned. So we've concluded the 6 elements of the QC requirements. The last, which is the 7th, being the documentation. We'll take a 5-minute break, before which I'll just answer a couple of questions. Subcontracting engagement between firms not in conflict with your opinions. So this is not a, in my professional opinion, subcontracting is not an appropriate measure, because ultimately the person who's going to sign the engagement will be the partner of the firm. So a partner of the firm cannot escape liability by virtue of subcontracting. So this is not a recommended option. When engagements are won, participating in EOIs, quotations, conflict on EQCs often takes place. Yes, there could be situations where when you're participating in an expression of interest, when you're seeking quotations. So that's why when we dealt with the client acceptance, we have to check those 3 criteria. One is our integrity of client, which is important. Next is the ethical requirement within the firm and our ability to do it. So once all these 3 are satisfied, only we be able to participate in the EOIs and quotations that are given. So if all these 3 are satisfied, you are in compliance with the EQC 1. Yeah, the time is now 7:10. With your permission, we'll take a 5-minute break and reassemble at 7:50. Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
షూస్ వాడుతున్నారా? మీరు తీసుకోండి, కొత్త నేను తీసుకుంటాను. కర్రతోనా? మరి చెప్పావా? తర్వాత అయినా దెబ్బలాడు, ఇంకెప్పుడు కొట్ట
பரவாயில்ல அப்ப சீப். சரி சரி சரி. ஆமா ஆமா. இப்ப அந்த நீட் ரிசல்ட்ட பார்த்துட்டு. சரி சரி சரி.
Shall we start? We'll wait for a few more minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Start. Okay, right. Just as a recap, we have discussed 6 elements of SQC: leadership, ethics, client acceptance and continuance, human resource, engagement performance, and monitoring. So these are the crucial 6 elements. The 7th being the most crucial to prove that we have done all this is the documentation. I think this is fairly simple because we all understand that at each standard on auditing requirement also stipulates that documentation is required. What all to be documented is mentioned in the relevant auditing standards also. However, from a quality control perspective, the documentation criteria to satisfy QC systems will depend on the size of the firm, number of offices, degree of authority, the managing partner, CEO, number of offices, branch offices, and nature and complexity of firm's practices. So if there are very complex, large listed engagements involving as time period, 7 years has been specified under this T1 based on the central councilments, where retention could be a longer period of time. Companies Act stipulates an additional 1 year period. However, the time period specified under SQC1 is 7 years. So we relevant 6 elements along with documentation for SQC1. Before we jump on to the next standard, I said I'll show you some relevant formats along with the implementation guidance. First, I will show you the implementation guide, then move on to other formats which I generally used so that it will be clear. There are not prescribed formats. However, this is mentioned in the implementation guide also. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
This is a 115-page document. It's implementation guide to SQC1, originally issued 2008, which was reprinted in 2009. So this will elaborate those 6 principles. I'm just going down. We had discussed these 6 only: element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4, 5, 6. So leadership, ethics, acceptance and continuous, human resource, performance and monitoring. So the details of whatever we discussed are also elaborated here. And as annexures, if you see, there are some illustrative formats given. Illustrative, annual, firm, personal independence confirmation. So there is a checklist that is given, whereas per standard, we at least on an annual basis, we are supposed to take independence clarification from the engagement team members. So a format is available in Annexure 1. Illustrative independence policies, a policy document on what should be independent is mentioned in Annexure 2. Annexure 3 is client acceptance and continuance form. So it's like a checklist on what are the criteria to be fulfilled before we accept a client or continue a client. That is also given in this Annexure 3. Annexure 4 is the planning memorandum when we talk about the human resource and performance of the engagement performance. What should be the planning memorandum? Annexure 5 is the summary memorandum, which we all use during our audit. This is an indicative checklist given. Most important, which I feel is the 6th one. This is called the quality control inspection checklist. It's a beautifully designed checklist which talks about all the 6 elements, and it's given in a yes or no format. I'll just go to page 64. So that it will enable us to know what are the relevant criteria as mentioned. So for example, the firm level quality control, there are 6 elements, right? So leadership responsibility, the question is given here, yes or no. Full compliance one. So next is ethical requirement. Yes, no. Next is acceptance. So for all 6 items, they've given a yes or no. In addition to those 6 items, section B contains engagement level. So selection of engagement team, have you done everything properly? Understanding of the environment, terms of engagement, have we done? So very beautifully checklist in yes or no format is already provided in this implementation guide. So if we are able to fill this and match it up, I think predominantly SQC1, we will be in compliance. So this document can be used for those 6 annexures, which can be effectively used for the purpose of the engagements. So I think we took a short break. If any particular member or participant has any questions related to SQC1 and this particular implementation guide that we discussed, I'll take 5 minutes of question and move on to SA220. That's relevant. It's reasonably simple because we've addressed most of the facts here, but may not be as complex as what we discussed earlier. I'll wait for 2-3 minutes. Any questions in chat box or?
Members, you can unmute yourself and you can ask directly. Or else chat box is another option. Any questions, members? Hope as of now there are no questions from members, sir. You can proceed, I say.
We'll proceed with yeah, I think there's one question from Mr. Ashish Agarwal who's talked about SQC1 for small firms. It's an excellent suggestion. As we understand, when we talked about the one but last slide, what are the relevant requirements for application of SQC1, where we discussed about nature, timing, extent, and the requirement to comply with SQC1. We said, smaller firms, policies can be drafted to that extent. And predominantly SQC1's applicability is driven from listed entities. Now with NFRA coming in and asking the engagement firm partners requirement or the SQC partners requirement, this particular feedback can be taken as a positive feedback. And I'm sure the chairman and the FRRB will evaluate requirement of standards and quality control for smaller firms, SMCs as we call it. Chairman, sir, I think it's more of a request for your consideration, sir. Yeah, I will share the screen. We are moving on to the next standard. This will be significantly light for you because most of the aspects relating to factors that are mentioned here are already discussed in the SQC1 itself. I hope the screen is visible. The overview of SA220, the scope and effective date, objective, definition. If you look at the requirements that are mentioned in SA220, most of it you would have already deliberated in SQC1. Leadership, ethics, acceptance and continuance, engagement team, performance, monitoring document. It's exactly the 6+1 essential elements mentioned in SQC1. So SA220 deals with the specific responsibilities of the auditor relating to quality control procedures. This should be read in conjunction with the relevant ethical requirement. And this SA220 presumes that firm is applying SQC. What does it state with regard to responsibility of firm? First of all, the QC system should be implemented to provide reasonable assurance for the firm and its personnel to comply with the professional standards, regulatory requirements, and issue a proper report. That's the responsibility of the audit firm. When it comes to engagement team, the implemented QC system should also be implemented when you're doing the engagement procedures and provide firm with relevant info regarding quality control. So if there are any threats to quality control or any threats for independence, all that have to be brought in by the engagement team to the audit firm. So generally, the engagement team is entitled to rely on the quality control manual unless info provided by the firm and other parties suggest otherwise. So all these factors related to integrity, objectivity, ethics, independence, competence, due care, all this should be specified in the quality control manual. Nevertheless, these aspects related to independence, competence, objectivity, professional care is also specified in the code of conduct, which is presumed to be applicable in these cases also. The auditor's objective, implementing quality control procedures at engagement level, and that provides reasonable assurance that we already discussed to comply with the professional legal requirement and to issue the appropriate audit report in the circumstances. Definitions, we can very well see that the same definitions mentioned in SQC 1 are also here. There is no change. It's absolutely the same definition. So we'll move on to the next aspect because we've already dealt with these definitions already. Now again, just rebrushing on SQC's matters which you already discussed with the leadership responsibilities. This we had already discussed. The engagement partner should take overall responsibility. In SQC, it was mentioned as the managing partner or a designated CEO. So here, when we are doing a specific engagement, the engagement partner shall take responsibility of overall quality. So here, EEP means engagement partner and ET means engagement team. Synonyms used are EP and ET. The last being a very important criteria, which says quality is quintessential and indispensable. In SQC 1, it stipulated that the quality shall precede the requirement of business objective. Here it says that quality is quintessential and indispensable. The engagement partner shall remain alert to evidence with non-compliance by engagement team. So continuous monitoring requirement shall ensure through an inquiry or observation practices. An indication of non-compliance, what has to happen is to consulting with the other in the firm and determining appropriate action, which could involve withdrawal or which could involve other disciplinary action as and when mandated. The engagement partner's response to form conclusion on the compliance of independence requirement, obtain relevant info from the firm, evaluate circumstances that give positions to threat of independence. Any identified breaches, we have to check the threat and take appropriate action. So this particular entire table mentioned here is very, very clearly specified in the annexure that I showed in SQC 1. The independence annual certification and the independence policies will very clearly establish the requirement that can be followed in full. This is the acceptance and continuance. This also, there's a specified checklist in implementation guide to SQC 1, which stipulate that engagement partner should be completely satisfied that appropriate procedures for client acceptance have been followed, and you should determine that the conclusion reached is appropriate. That is, I do not have any integrity issues related to client. I don't have any problems with deliverables. That is my capacity, capability, and time. And third is ethical requirement. All these I'm satisfied. So this has to be documented. So the documentation is the checklist mentioned in annexure to the SQC 1 implementation guide. Assignment of engagement team. This also we discussed in the SQC requirement that the adequate expertise have to be mentioned. They maintain the professional standards, and all the people within the engagement team should be competent and they should have sufficient capabilities. So this is the engagement performance, which you also discussed. The direction, supervision, review, consultation, QC review, and any difference of opinion. So all this have to be merged by the engagement partner, where he ensures that adequate direction is there for Consultations are being done in case of any complexities associated with audit judgment. Engagement quality control review is also parallelly being done, and any difference of opinion between engagement teams or between engagement quality control reviewer is being addressed suitably and also documented. So in an engagement performance, these are all coexisting parameters by the engagement partner. And performance in appropriate circumstances. And in order to direct what are the responsibilities, we need to ensure that the compliance of ethical requirement, professional skepticism, objectivity, risk-related issues. My sincere apologies. There has been a small network issue at my end. I'm just
Okay, sir. It could be because the network is not in our hands, so it could be.
yeah.
No
My
issues, sir.
apologies.
No issues, sir. Proceed.
Yeah. We were just on the supervision aspect. We talked about tracking the progress of work, sufficient time to carry out. I was just explaining that there could be practical scenario where we plan an inventory physical verification review as on 31st March, but if it's not carried out, what are the alternative procedures? So these kind of continuous supervision aspects should also be part of responsibility of engagement partner. Reviews, ensure that the reviews are performed in accordance with the firm's review procedures and policies, and is documented appropriately. Any issues to be addressed suitably, anything that comes to the notice, new notifications, laws, complexities, conclusions of any matters, sufficient evidence has been obtained for supporting the audit report. All this also have to be thoroughly observed. Any critical areas during the engagement for timely conclusion, like areas of judgment, significant risk, all these have to be considered by the engagement partner. Consultation, we had discussed this, to take responsibility for the engagement team to continuously consult any difficult or contentious issues. If the engagement team members are unable to conclude on one particular valuation aspect or a sampling procedure, continuous consultation has to be done with the engagement team to reach proper conclusions. The engagement partner should keep discussing with QC team where the review is being conducted periodically and not just at the end of the moment. So planning by the QC reviewer also should be there. Periodic discussion should happen and ensure that these are all documented. And the engagement partner shall not conclude the audit report until the EQC is concluded. This is from the EQC reviewer's perspective. There should be an evaluation of significant judgments made by the engagement team and the conclusions reached. So if the engagement team, along with the partner, has have taken some significant judgment calls, professional judgments on certain matters, then the EQC reviewer shall perform an evaluation of those judgments also. Then the discussion should be documented, and he should review the financial statements and the proposed audit report and review selected documentation. So the QC reviewer need not go through all the documentation. Those which are crucial to the audit, which involving significant judgments and conclusions, it can be reviewed and the documentation can be reviewed. Additional consideration for listed entities, the independence is very, very important. So engagement team's evaluation of independence, whether appropriation consultations have been taken place before concluding the report, and documentation for select matters is a compulsory thing for a quality control reviewer. Difference of opinion should be documented. This is very, very crucial. If there's any difference in opinion between the engagement team and partner, or between engagement partner and EQC reviewer, how the difference of opinion was resolved, and what is the process established under the quality control manual for resolving differences. As the quality control manual says, in case of a difference, we should go to a third party, take a legal opinion, or any such matters. This has to be documented and following from the firm's quality control process. The engagement partner shall consider that the results of the monitoring process are also circulated to the network firms, and there are no deficiencies noticed. So ideally, during the monitoring process, there cannot be any deficiencies noted to establish quality control. And documentation, I think, fairly simple. All these matters, in fact, whatever we had discussed, are to be suitably documented. More importantly, those which had ethical issues and how they were resolved, any independence matters as to how they were concluded, any conclusions reached for acceptance and continuance of engagement, particularly in case of contingent matters, and the nature of scope of audit. The EQC reviewer shall document the firm's policies, what kind of procedures he has followed, and ensure that the quality control review is concluded before the auditor's report date. I think there was one question that came up in the chat box. There are many cases where corporate failures, lot of substratum, winding up, discovered. Okay, this is also an important question where the queryist has asked that significant corporate failures and winding ups have been discovered by independent agencies. How far can SQC compliance protect engagement partners? Now, the SQC is not to protect engagement partners, sir. It is SQC is done to comply with the auditing standard. That we should digest first. And very clearly, I specified in one of the slides that the requirement or the responsibility of the engagement partner does not get absolved because a quality control procedure was carried out. This is an internal document that is required to ensure that if there are any oversight that has been done by the engagement team or engagement partner, it is corrected during the quality control process. So it does not absolve the engagement partner of his responsibility for signing. But however, we can internally understand that when a fresh pair of eyes looks at it, when it comes to an engagement, you can always prove yourself better in terms of a documentation. Difference of opinion usually arises in what type of matters? Can you please illustrate? Yes. A firm's quality control process can say that sampling process in terms of a service company should be based on turnover and not on asset based. In an infrastructure company, it can be asset based and not based on turnover. If this process is not adhered to, an engagement quality control reviewer says that your sampling process is wrong, then the engagement partner shall satisfy the other party, the quality control partner, as to why a different sampling procedure was adopted in compliance with the standard. This is in respect of an audit. One more example I'll give you in accounting. Say, for example, there is a deferred tax asset which is recognized in the books of accounts, and you need to have virtual certainty that this deferred tax asset will get recognized on account of future sustainable profits. Suitable documentation has been taken by the engagement team to the satisfaction of the engagement partner. The quality control partner is of a different view that future sustainable profits are only based on management representation, but the order book nor the environment to project any such future sustainable profits. Therefore, you need to charge off the deferred tax asset. So then what, both of them sit together, understand the documentation, sufficient appropriate evidence, and take an appropriate call. Number 3, an inventory physical verification check is being done by the management as on the year end as part of their policies. The requirement of auditor is to be present at a physical verification process and assess the controls. The standard also says in the inability to be available at a physical verification process, you do alternative processes. Now assume for an instance, due to some problem or lack of resources, the physical verification process was not monitored. Now the quality control partner shall ask, why didn't you attend the physical verification process? That response should be satisfactory, that either on account of impracticability, that okay, the inventory was available in a ship and that we could not go there because of certain problems. The inventory was available in a docking yard where there were issues that we could not get entry. Or these kind of practical issues could be there, which could not help the audit team to reach that place. If it is not done and any alternative procedure is adopted, this particular alternative procedure should be to the satisfaction of the QC reviewer. So this kind of differences of opinion may arise. I can say multiple impairment of a PPE. You feel that engagement partner feels that impairment is not required because the recoverable value or value in use is higher. Whereas on independent assessment, the engagement review partner feels that there is an impairment issue because the discounting rate which you have taken for the purpose of impairment is not correct. So they have to sit down together, sort out those differences of opinion and conclude. So I think I've given reasonable examples. Yeah, I'll wait for other questions.
Members, unmute yourself and you can ask question. Or you can put it in chat box.
Mr. Vasudevan,
Yes, sir.
you said you will also share some, at least in a slideshow, you will show some format which you are using.
Yes, sir. I'll just show it to you, sir. If the question session is over, I'll quickly show you some formats also.
Mainly for engagement quality review.
Certainly, sir.
Any questions, members?
Yeah.
Sir, I think you can proceed. There are no more questions as of now. Yeah.
Sure. So I'm just showing you a QC document. I think my screen is visible. This is the quality control manual that I was mentioning, that all firms, particularly listed entities require this as a mandatory requirement. So this is one of the quality control manuals which are in use, which if you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are all coming from the SQC1 only. First is a general policy statement. Number 1 is the leadership responsibilities. Within that, there are 2 subheadings, leadership position and tone at the top. Ethical requirements, we're talking about independence. Acceptance and withdrawal, number 3, there's an item. Human resource, this QC manual talks about recruitment, training, assignment, engagement teams, enforcing disciplinary action, rewarding in terms of client. And engagement performance, number 5, essential element, role of engagement partner, consultation, difference of opinion. Item number 5 is the monitoring, 6 is the monitoring, where what are the monitoring programs, inspection procedures, deficiencies, evaluation, report of results on monitoring, and compliance and allegations. The 7th item, which is the documentation, what are supposed to be documented. So all these have detailed responses. So generally, what is the policy statement? And within these aspects, item number 1, setting the tone at the top, leadership position, who is responsible, ethical requirement, who's responsible, independence criteria, what do you follow? Do you take any independence confirmations? Firm's responsibility, what are the items? Partners and staff's ethical responsibility, what are them? So like this, each of those items, a detailed an essay type of requirement is given, sir. So this is one of the aspects which we mentioned regarding long association, familiarity, threat. The quality control manuals shall say a long senior person, 5 years or more, will be considered as a familiarity threat. You can reduce it to 3 years also. It could be lesser also. So you can pick it up from the code of ethics, sir. Prospective clients, what all are the risks that you need to assess? How do you assess? Existing clients, what do you do? Right? What all the matters that you need to see in case of continuing engagements? Withdrawal, what all are supposed to see? Item number 4, the crucial aspect, human resource. Right? How are you monitoring all of them? What is the recruitment done? What is the policy for recruitment? Resumes, criminal records, checking references, professional abilities, confidentiality policies, probation period, material orientation period, training, what are the essential aspects that are done. So so there's no standard policy, sir. What I'm trying to reiterate is within these 6, you can develop as many as possible based on your firm's policies and depending on the nature and size of the firm, sir. Ideally, these should cover the 6+1 items. So if there's instead of thinking on what could be a problem, if there is a complaint or allegation after monitoring, your QC policy should drive what are the remedies. File access and retention, who should have access to what, should be driven from your QC policy. So this is one aspect that I thought I'll bring it to your notice. The other thing that I would want to show you are extracts from the SQC1 implementation guide only. I'll just show you an independence confirmation, annual confirmation that we take from. So we just take I hope my screen is visible. So we just have a standard format where we just take independence confirmation. These are the questions that every engagement team member should read, sign yes or no. And they have to declare that I'll ensure that independence criteria is maintained. I have no conflict of interest and it is signed and also countersigned by the engagement partner. And if there is any conflict or interest that arises during the course, it should be intimated immediately. So that also we are bringing to the notice. So this is, you can be taken, this questionnaire is taken from the implementation guide only. It's number 2. Number 3, what I wanted to show you is the QCI checklist, quality control inspection checklist. It is the annexure, I think 6 of the SQC1 implementation guide. So I'm sure the chairman or one of the members could request the AASB to provide a Word document so that it will be easy for copying to the best of your abilities. So this is the quality control inspection checklist we have, these 6 items at firm level and the engagement level checklist. So the same checklist, we have put it across in Word format, where the engagement team will review a yes or no feedback and write remarks if there's any problem, and rating is done, sir. So for all these items, we've converted this into Word, and any suitable modifications is required also, it can be done. Yeah. Thank you, sir. I hope I've clarified the basic requirements within the standard, as well as the formats that are taken from various authoritative pronouncements issued by ICAI. If there are any further questions, I'm happy to answer.
Mr. Vasudevan, is it possible to have a look at engagement quality control reviewer report?
Yes, sir. So there is no prescribed format, sir. We only document contentious issues and what are the assignment that we do within the engagement, sir. So there, like I said, there is no specified routine document. I can give you an example, sir. Like for example, a listed entity is one particular listed entity we are going to conclude before 60 days. The engagement reviewer will say at least once in a fortnight, we will review the documentation. They will have independent discussions with the engagement team as well as with the engagement partner. Any contentious issues on those 4 or 5 days of the week will be documented as a minutes, just like how we have a board minutes, sir. We just document those aspects that this matter was discussed on this particular date. This was the contentious document that was reviewed. And these are the audit documentation reviewed by the QC reviewer, and difference of opinion was resolved in this manner. That's all. There's no documented format prescribed under the standards.
Any questions, members? You can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Whether these PPTs can be shared to participants?
Yes, sir, we will do it, sir. We will request the speaker and we will obtain the PPT and we will circulate through mail, sir, for all the delegates, whoever are registered in with the Google form. We have all the mail IDs of members as well as our own Visakhapatnam branch members. For all of them, we will be sending it, sir. We request the speaker to send it by Monday. Hopefully, we can send it, sir.
A small request to Mr. Vasudevan.
Yes, sir.
In case of any practical difficulty, is it possible for us to contact you on your email, or if you provide your mobile number?
100%, sir. 100%. Just for the benefit of the members, right now in the chat box, I will type my phone number and my email ID. And please do feel free to reach out to me at any time, sir. I've just right now typed. I hope it is visible to all participants, or is it a direct message, sir? Sorry.
No, it's not to everyone, sir. It's not to everyone.
I'm just doing it to everyone. Right away, sir. Sorry, just give me a second, please. Yeah, I hope it's visible now, sir.
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Sorry. Just give me a second. Okay. Yeah, I think now it should be out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, mobile number is there. Yeah, mail ID also. Yeah.
So I'll just, because somebody had asked the peer review, the documents are a little crucial and confidential, but I've just hidden the rows, I'll just project you for a minute so that you can check how a peer review or an internal QC review was done. Chairman, sir, may I request you to not record this just for ensure confidentiality?
No, I will pause it then. Okay, I will pause it.
He can ask documents directly also. So these kind of additional data can also be collated.
Any queries, members?
Yes, Chairman, sir. I think we don't have any further queries.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your elaborate deliberations and patient deliberations explanations for almost 3 years. 2.5 hours. Through 2.5 hours continuously speaking is not a small issue. So you have a great energy with you. You have addressed our members very well, and even queries clarification also you taken up in the middle, and many queries been clarified. So members' doubts got cleared. Thank you very much, and accepting, first of all, accepting our request. For the first time, I think you are addressing to the members of Visakhapatnam branch, I think, sir.
That's right, sir. That's right.
Yeah. We will surely plan a physical seminar with you.
Sure.
Once the things comes to normal, so that our members will have a benefited session from you.
Most certainly, sir. I'm really happy and thankful that the session was organized. I had a little scare in my mind because relatively dry standards are being discussed, that too on a Saturday evening. I hope that I kept the participants completely engaged with the session. And like I said, anytime, please feel free to get in touch with me. Whatever best professional support I can give, I'll be very happy to share, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our branch secretary, C.A. Prashant Kumar, to propose vote of thanks.
Respected Chairman, C.S. Muralikrishna Garu, Learned Speaker, C.A. Lokesh Vasudevanji, past Chairman, senior members, and other dignitaries, good evening to all. I am privileged to propose vote of thanks for the two-day session on my own behalf and behalf of the members of the Visakhapatnam branch and other part of SIRC. I convey my sincere thanks for accepting our invitation and to share your valuable knowledge for the benefit of our members. Sir, your deliberations on SA 220 and SQC 1, that is quality control on of historical financial information, and quality control for audit of financial statements are given in a clear picture for all of us. Sir, your focus on acceptance and continuous of audit, significant matters to consider with respect to the quality control, like client integrity, respected to firm capability and ethical issues. Assessment of the staff capabilities and compatibilities, materiality, content, and so on and so forth are covered exhaustively and extremely well, sir. And we are very much thankful for your qualitative and contentful deliberation, which has given more information and clarity on the above two standards, sir. Thank you very much. I also extend my thanks to the Financial Reporting and Review Board of ICAI to give an opportunity to host this program. I also extend my thanks to all the members who participated in this webinar and got benefit out of it and make it grand success. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, participants.